Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Final Show Films. I'm Sen, your executive producer here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I particularly want to thank our $25 tier supporters over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms. Those being champions Alexander, Samantha Bates, and L, without whom we won't be able to do nearly as much as we do now. So thank you very much for your support over the years. And those of you that are watching live, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Exandria Rising. I am Sen, your game master for the evening, and I am joined this week by Shawnee.
Hi, I am Shani Orwillian, and I'm playing Najka, the Orkesh craftswoman.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I'm playing Elafira, who is a water genasi. I don't remember if we switched over yet or not.
You will have the
class-wise.
opportunity to switch over. The week that you have between now and the Cobalt Sun
Okay.
Diviner is the week that you'll be able to switch over. So it'll be
At this point, rogue.
I now remember one of the things where we left off was that Grouper had wanted to ask Najka about why she had been particularly wistful and frustrated regarding the children at some point.
I think that was said after the episode, but yes, that's something that can happen. Also being joined by Craig.
Hi, I'm playing Grouper, the Fisher Fish Circle of the Moon Druid.
And Javian.
Javian, I'm playing Tenebrous, a Gerbean Witch Warlock.
And Holly.
I'm Holly. I'm playing Davina. Sorry, I thought this was Wednesday night. She's a Silky Folk Mystic.
Yes, Davina Dakota Juniper.
Yeah, I was about
I was gonna say Wednesday when none of us can remember what your name is.
If it makes you feel any better, I was sitting here with the Bees character sheet open.
Well, I was about to say Davina, a Philodox Stargazer.
We will not be joined by Jack, the pilot of the Good Goblins, as they are still recovering from having had a baby. So that is a thing that has happened. And while for most of the time when your game master starts fondling a knife, you should be concerned. In my case, I just have to fidget with things, and the knife is the closest thing to hand. Don't worry about it. But as always, trans rights and human rights and Black Lives Matter. And when last we left off, the group of adventurers known as insert word in Aquan that I made up and Nivenaya.
The Quench.
No, not that.
What did you say?
The Quench.
The Quench.
The Quench.
In the same tone of voice you would say the Grundle with. Yeah.
Sounded dirty, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely like that's definitely slang. That's definitely euphemism for something on whatever species grouper is anatomy. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the species that grouper is.
That's fair. It's Locatha, but
that one, yeah. But yes, Nivenaya.
It's all silly made up words.
But it's silly made up words that we have assigned meaning to, just as all words are silly made up words that we have assigned meaning to.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I mean that's just
like
language,
English.
baby.
That's language. Side note, because I have to do this now. English is not the only one that does stupid shit like English does. Most languages do the stupid shit English does. English just gets the stick for it because it's one of the more widely spoken languages that we're all aware of, and all the people that give it stick are the people that speak it. But for instance, in Japanese, the one of the words for ex-wife is also the word for appetizer.
That is true. The difference there is that it works better in writing because they look the words that sound the same look different in writing.
Sometimes, but not all the time. In this particular case, it's written the same.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's It's about inflection, as is with most
Yeah.
things, like with us. A perfect example of inflection in the English language, by the way. I've been playing God of War Ragnarok recently, and there was a perfect pair of lines that Christopher Judge, the very great voice actor for Kratos, does in response to Kratos' son talking about beard hair coming. He thinks that his beard is coming in. He goes, Atreus says, "My face is itchy," and he goes, "Is it?" And yeah, I think my beard is coming in. Is it? And just that slight change of inflection changes the meaning of the two words.
Mm-hmm.
All languages do that.
Absolutely.
Anyways, soapbox off.
I will tamp down on that.
Yeah.
Might need to argue that one. Grammar
English
and
is still decidedly a
syntax.
weird language, but yes.
It is.
Grammar and syntax, no other language is the level of exceptions and things that don't really apply except for in this case or that case or the other case than English.
And that's largely because
in terms of sentence structure.
And that's largely because rather than relying on exceptions and changing the rules for each exception, they just expect you to interpret it via inflection and tone, which
it's also because
work.
English has taken so much from other languages and incorporated it into English the way other languages don't tend to do.
Yes.
Yeah, like most languages can be said to have a specific linguistic root, like the Romance languages or the Germanic languages. English is like, nah, fuck all that, all of it, mine.
Yep. We're greedy. Anyways, but yes, back on topic. Nimanaya had determined that it would take a week for the Cobalt Soul to be able to send a diviner that could scry, that could cast a scrying spell for them. And in that time, they looked into some options, didn't find anything that was really workable at the moment that they wanted to risk working with, anyways. Grouper bought some magic items that I hope he remembers what they are, and we
Not a little bit.
We have a week of potential downtime for you all to engage with, as you have to wait for your diviner to come in. Before we get into any character beats, we're going to go ahead and have our Bastion turn. You do have somebody that can cast Sending, so you will be able to issue one order to your Bastions.
We can fucking try. Tenebris
Assuming
doesn't screw us over this time.
Assuming that the orders go through. Yeah, go ahead. We'll start with Shani. What orders are you giving to your Bastion this week? I think they might still be working. One of them might still be working on something. But...
Yeah, I believe the barrack is still recruiting and the smithy is still working.
So you're going to recruit again because the barrack doesn't. Recruiting is done in a week. So the next week you would.
Yeah, but it only recruits like 4 per recruit, and
yes.
there's room for 12.
Yes.
So
you're issuing another recruit command for that, and then your other one is continuing on its craft.
Yeah.
All right, which is, let me double check really quick if that's technically maintained or not. No, I'm just checking to see if carrying on with the tasks that have already been assigned counts as a maintain order or not. But that's what you're doing right now, Jeremy.
Yes. I have to remember how we do this. It's been. Hold on, I have to find the roll 20. Let's see. I think we are. What would be good for research on this one?
Yeah, you won't be able to get the results of your research until you get back to the Bastion. So make sure you mark down the things that you're researching.
Right, so it's not going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been good to know the last few times I said you were doing research. You're like, okay, you're researching this.
I believe the last time you were researching, you were specifically researching the torchbearers.
And I think I think the second time was a redo of that. So,
or it was something else, but yeah.
No, it was the same thing.
Okay.
because we didn't have the information yet, and more information is not bad.
Yep. 2 instances of torchbearer research going on, or that have happened.
I'm just looking for a place to note that.
You should have a Bastion sheet.
Yes, I'm looking for a place to note that what I have
Gotcha.
researched on it. Fuck it, I'm gonna write it down in this document. I will never remember.
I mean, I'm just putting mine in the description, like the main Bastion profile description of what's actively going on right now.
Go to somebody else.
Okay. Craig.
You're muted.
I was both hardware and software muted, but I have solved the problem. God, it's been a week. Grouper would just like Quay to fish up another week's worth of material, and I think old Alki can sell the previous stock this week.
All right. So let's see. Storehouse. Because it's a storehouse and a garden food, which is fish.
Right.
Yep. So then you had a total value of 500 gold, which means that he then sells it for 550. So you'll have 550 gold in storage at the storehouse when you get back to the Bastion, waiting for you.
Yep. Functionally, he is salting it and preparing it for sale.
Yes.
Or rather, that's what he did last week. This week, he's selling what he sold the week before. So,
all right, Drivin.
The workshop gets to craft something.
Is it still?
And
crafting?
the bearers get to recruit.
I think there was.
I don't remember.
What did you have your workshop crafting previously? Do you remember?
I don't. I think it was like leather armor or something.
What was leather armor? It's probably still being crafted.
Well, then they will continue to craft that.
All right. So make sure you note that down in your Bastion sheet.
And then the barracks recruits.
Continues to recruit. So go ahead and mark down 4 more recruits for your barracks. Yours as well, Shawnee.
Yep.
Holly.
Research psionics.
Okay, so I think that was the thing that you were researching last week as well, correct?
Was that what I was researching last
you
week?
could continue to research it. There's more. We'll just get more details.
Continue because she wants to do an in-depth research on psionics.
So go ahead and mark. I don't remember what you did the first. I think it was the first week you were researching silos, maybe.
Yes, the first week was silos.
So on your Bastion sheet, make sure you mark 1 instance of research for silos and 2 instances of researches for psychics or psionics.
Okay.
Jeremy.
Sorry, I was in communication with the over thing to determine whether I would still stay in here, which I am. Yay!
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to research. You know, I'm going to look into. This is really out of left field, I think. But a couple weeks worth of research into torchbearers is probably a good start when we don't know how much information there is to even locate.
Yep. They get to learn up to 3 true facts, but up to can include 0.
Correct. I am going to have whoever that person is, whose name I cannot currently remember, look into around the Bastion itself. Local area, calamity lore.
Okay. Local area calamity lore. Go ahead and mark
You
that
never
down.
know, it might come in handy.
So that's 2 instances for you. That's 2 instances of torchbearers
Yes,
and 1 instance of local area.
I put them in the party notes document.
That works.
And then for the garden, just more antitoxin.
All right, more antitoxin will be available when you get back. So, Mark,
I think that's all they've been
it's
doing
been
so far.
that's 3 instances of antitoxin, 3 vials of
Yep.
antitoxin waiting for you there. Grouper, as a reminder, the three magical items that you got were the
No, 6 vials of antitoxin.
6 vials, right?
2 per week.
2 per week.
No, I know what they were. The
you-
Storm Seer lamp, the platform shoes, and the
Sea
serpent
hairpin.
bracer.
The sea serpent hairpin. Yep.
No, I got them.
Yes. I just wanted to remind everyone that Gruber has platform boots because they're hilarious and I love them.
You're damn right.
Love his shit.
All right, yeah. So the half plate is on week
can
3 out
tell-
of 6, and
you can tell by the way
barracks
he
is now
walks.
full.
No, absolutely not.
I'm a fisherman. No time to
Unacceptable.
talk.
Fucking
Jeremy, it's all right. It's okay.
no.
You can look the other way. Jeremy is trying to force choke me through the screen. I feel like we should probably move on.
It's okay. We'll just try to understand the New York Times effect on man. That's the weirdest lyric in that whole song. Is the end of that first verse. I have no
That's-
idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Which
That's
is a really goddamn high bar, by the way, for that song.
Right? I don't know that it's referenced again ever in the song. Other than just being repeated. Like, I don't think they ever explain what they're talking about there either.
I think it's
No.
specifically about fashion writing's effect on then modern day masculinity.
Yeah,
That-
it is.
that
It's
may very
very
well be
much an of its time lyric
Yeah.
that you would not understand. Which, to be fair, the songs that hit in our areas too have tons of those.
Oh yeah, no. Like in 20 years, people are going to be really confused about why why some of Kendrick's current songs are topping the charts.
Yeah, people will be listening to just like us. I'm like, what the fuck is this
Why
about?
are they? Why was accusing somebody of being a pedophile a popular song?
Why is the Uncharted guy being called out by Kendrick Lamar?
Right? Yeah.
I was gonna forget that Drake was a musician entirely.
I mean,
Yes, because he might as well have been wiped from the face of existence at this point.
because people only remember him for one thing right now. Anyways.
Still better than Kanye's direction right now.
Anyways. But yes, so Bastion Orders have been issued, marking them all down. And yeah, you have a week of downtime. So we can get into if there's anything specific. I know Elefira is going to be taking this week to be retraining, so you can go ahead and
Correct.
swap your character sheet to your new class.
As I close out D&D Beyond and open up my Roll20 character sheet. And try to remember what all this means, because I decided to do this, which and made this character sheet like 8 weeks ago.
There you go.
You have become investigator.
Correct.
And then when the 2024 version of the Investigator comes out, you'll have to change it again.
I will not be switching. I don't care how cool it is. If it comes out right at the point I have finally gotten this one down,
Fair. That's entirely fair.
there is no 2024 version.
That is entirely fair.
I have spells now.
I will say that the 2024 updates for the classes like the witch that I've been using has made the class function a lot better, and they'll probably do the same with the other classes.
That is fair.
Like my witch, my steel witch that I play on Saturdays is no longer a weird mage tank with 24 AC at level 6, but instead is now a very, very good attacker that has not a lot of health. So, anyways, Steel Witch previously was a ridiculously good mage tank. So, aside from retraining on Elevira's part, what else? What is everyone else doing for the week? in addition to your downtime activities that you could pick out, you can also have any scenes that you'd like to have Grouper and Nashka, for instance.
Yeah, that's part of what Grouper would like to do is spend some time training with Noshka this week.
Yeah.
How many more weeks of training do you have on that?
I don't
think he's
Yeah.
mechanically learning anything.
Yeah, I'm not working towards anything. It's just a role play thing
Gotcha.
for Grouper to be sort of in character, catching up a bit with the other characters who have real world experience.
Nashka has 3 more weeks to learn Primordial.
That's it.
So probably tack on a 5th week of that.
So we could be doing that while we're training.
Yeah.
Davina would like to train with Nashka on her bow at some point.
Yes, right.
How many more weeks of that you have?
I am looking for where I put that.
The mechanical thing I'd like to do this week is spend time at the Wild Arbor, or if there are any visiting menageries or zoos, just trying to check out new animals.
All right.
I have 6 weeks on the bow.
There's no visiting menageries or zoos, but you can absolutely spend time at the Wild Arbor. As far as Xanathar's guys, what I need for this? Hang on. Xanathar, get over here, you eyeball bastard.
Then I have a weird question.
Yes.
Now that and if the answer is no, I 1000% understand. But now that I'm an investigator and I have sending as a spell, can I get that research information before we go back?
It's the research information is too dense an amount of information to be passed.
That's fine. That is absolutely fine.
Yeah, sending's limited to 25 words.
Oh, I know, but we could do many sendings.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you guys are
I
ritual.
could just exhaust my spell.
Well, I mean, you can ritual cast it, right? Because investigator just ritual casts everything. You know,
correct.
Slots. But yeah, no,
we just spend like thousands. We just spend like half the day to get one message back and forth.
The amount of time it would take for you to get one full info dump, you would forget the beginning of the info dump by the time you got to the end of it, because it's like an hour and 11 minutes or whatever per cast.
Right. No, that is absolutely fine. I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah. It's a good idea, but no. If you had, oh god, there's a cantrip you could use though. If you have access to it, I don't know if the investigator has access to cantrips.
I don't. Let me see. I do. I do not have any cantrips listed, and I chose everything, including. So I would assume no.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I have a cantrip, but it's shape water. It's my genasi.
Yeah, it's definitely it's the Demir. It's one of the Demir Guild.
Encode Thoughts. Yeah,
Encode Thoughts could theoretically be used to deliver that much information, but
yeah, it's fine. It's
both parties have to know Encode Thoughts for that to work.
Yes. You could use sending to say, "Hey, I'm staying here for a while. Can you?"
Send it to me.
Yeah, can you send it to me? And it'll take a few days for it to get to you, but then some of it will be on the way.
Sure.
All right. Which
I will pass that information on. Well, I'm assuming the stuff that that has already been completed.
Okay. Yeah.
The research into the
2 instances of Torchbearers. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be a long.
The other one is a long-term thing that's probably not going to have any impact on us now, anyways.
They'll let you know that they are going to basically get it on a flying courier. It'll take a couple of days for the courier to get to them, to the Bastion, and then a couple of days for the courier to get to you guys, but it should be there shortly after the end of the week.
Awesome.
Also, the more that I think about it, if I remember right, I meddled with the second research. And if I remember right, it was researching the Fisher person.
No,
right.
You meddled with
someone's research to be specifically about Quay.
It'd be really weird to be the Torchbearers stuff.
I thought you meddled with Grouper's message to Quay.
Yeah, that's my recollection.
I think I did both. because they were both okay with it.
You would.
I don't remember it, and it wasn't written down. This is why I need you guys to write things down when you make bastion orders, because I will have no way of remembering it.
That is legit.
I can give you.
I'm just saying, it would be
instance of information about.
It'll be really weird if it's like, tell me all about our worst enemies, and then some information comes in about Quay.
Yeah. Well, I would say that
That's actually
I may murder an NPC.
That's
no.
actually fantastic.
in that instance, if you're agreeing with that, then you will only get one bit of data, because he's only going to send you the torchbearer information because that's what you asked for.
That's fair. That's fair.
You will just have the other information on hand
For when you get back.
for when you ask for it, which you probably never will.
Here is that extra information about the people who are trying to kill you that you wanted. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Look, it was self-defense.
So yeah, it's okay. So from what I'm seeing, it continuing on with the existing craft project is not a maintain order, so we do not have to roll any bastion events with that. Since nobody used maintain.
Next time, though, the barracks will both maintain.
Yeah, because they're going to be full up. They won't have anything else to do but maintain.
But the barracks is the best place to maintain.
Yeah.
Because it's the one that's easiest to recruit whatever happens. And also, to be fair with the maintain rolls, not all the maintain results are bad. Several of them are good. And 50 and below on the D100 roll, nothing happens. So it's very rare for something bad to happen on a maintain roll. It's just that
it's just something eventful might happen.
Exactly. We did maintains on. Well, we had our first or second maintain rolls of the game that I'm in right now with our first time playing with Bastions, and somebody came and used my library and I got $50 for it, or 50 gold for it. So yeah, cool. A little bit of extra gold when I get back. All right. So
I wish I could get someone to pay me $50 to use my personal library.
Well, you don't have a personal library as extensive as the one Fox thought in Eberron. I'm playing a Hexblood that was formerly a shifter, and he is a fox. Or he was a fox, and is a thought. And has the most extensive library in the Great Crag in Drome. Being that it is the only library in the Great Crag of Drome. Anyways. So, we have issued our orders. We have some information coming to Elefera. Would you like to offer that? Would anybody else like to request couriership of information from your from a library?
Yeah, I will point out the possibility.
Only other person with a library who could get that information is Davina.
Correct.
I apologize. I'm comprising an email. What information?
Would you like to have your information from the library couriered to you?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, what bits of information would you like couriered? So right now you've got one bit of information on Silos Ration stockpiled and one bit of information on Psionic stockpiled. You probably don't want them both at the same time because they're different subjects.
Silos.
Okay.
I want the Silos information.
So we've got a scroll of information about the torchbearers and a scroll of information specifically about Silos on their way. It'll be there by the end of the week.
Okay.
Or shortly after the end of the week. Grouper and Najka.
What kind of drills would you be running Grouper through?
I think probably easiest thing to do inside a city is mostly just threat recognition, like just the situations that you might find yourself in where you're going to need to take time to take stock, analyze the situation, figure out what potential dangers are, and figure out how you're going to approach any individual situation.
The thought comes to mind as Noshka leading Grouper around the city. That's a scoundrel. Watch out for them. And later takes Grouper down an alley. It's like, that's a mugger.
It's mostly just like a matter of consider this is unfamiliar territory. Look around, tell me what angles of escape, if you need to run away from the situation, might be, where people might attack you from, etc. Like sort of like put you in a situation and ask you to analyze it and figure out what potential threats might be.
Okay, yeah, I like that a lot because that's kind of what Grouper needs to wise up about. And also, he's good at noticing things, just not necessarily good at realizing threats. So then, while we're strolling around, maybe when we're in the area closer to where the children had lived at one point in the day, um, Grouper would say, "So, again, if you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. But just," and kind of gestures in the direction of the by now probably somewhat familiar streets. It seemed like, I mean, all of us are upset, of course, but it seemed like this was really eating at you.
Aye, that's probably not wrong.
Anything you want to talk about?
It was a bad reminder, let's say. And I apologize to Sen because I had figured this aspect about Notchka long before you had a kid. And she's like,
You didn't, because I had 2 kids before Najka existed.
well, yeah, long before most recent kid.
Okay.
She's like, let's just say she sort of like takes a glove off, and sort of shows off the inside of her forearm, where you can sort of see the pulsing fire that sort of that courses through her. Part of carrying on my father's legacy, carrying the Forge Hammer. According to Da, I take to the Forge Maul better than several past generations have ever done. It's communed with me and unlocked abilities on a level that other people haven't been able to. It's part of me in a significant way. My body is hot to the touch. I can control it a little bit, and you sort of see the flame dim just enough, to the point where physical touch isn't harmful to anyone unless I want it to be. But there's a limit to what I can accomplish with that. And you know how I never get sick, really? Not normal sickness, like I don't catch a cold.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's not the only kind of life that can't take root in a body that runs as hot as mine.
Yeah. I didn't think about that.
And Fyron and I have talked about that. We don't really live a life that's conducive to having kids, and if we wanted any, we would probably adopt them, but it's a thing you have to confront every now and then.
So
especially when you see children in danger.
That's not my veil, that's Holly's.
Yeah.
Or line.
Am I correct in my thinking, out of character? Am I correct in my thinking that there aren't a lot of Locatha around?
Make a nature roll.
Okay. I don't mean like right here, right now. I just mean in general. It's an 18.
Locatha, you are odd because Lokatha tend to have large clutches of children. You have no siblings is odd for a Lokatha.
Okay.
There are a lot of Lokatha, but they aren't a lot of Lokatha in civilization.
Okay.
They tend to live in isolated communities, out in the water, away from everything.
Okay. Right.
So you know that your circumstance is odd for a number of reasons.
Yeah. Okay. Grouper sort of thinks for a second and looks up and says, "Is this the kind of thing where it's most helpful for you if I just tell you that even though I don't get it exactly myself, I understand what you're going through and it really sucks? Or is this the kind of thing that you'd like to talk about in more detail?"
To be honest, I don't really think about it often. It's just that situation reminded me of it, and it wasn't a pleasant reminder. Most of the time I'm on the job, I'm doing things, I don't really think about that kind of thing. It's not something that either Fire and I were planning on dealing with anytime soon, but sometimes something like that's just kind of a slap in the face, you know?
No, I get it. And again, it's not the same, but I mean, I don't think I'm exactly seaborn clutch material, you know? It's something I think about sometimes too. I always kind of thought I'd be a pretty good dad, you know, when I was a kid before I started thinking about some of the specifics of that. Well, plenty of kids out there, like you said, that are going to be in need of a good home. And I know that doesn't change the specifics of what you're talking about. But by the wild mother, Nazca, I tell you, I am absolutely terrified of anybody that chooses to mess with any of your kids. If you ever choose to have them or bring them into your life, they're going to be some really lucky kids. You're going to be a great mom. Scary mom, but a great mom.
I feel like when your mother can literally shoot fire, I feel like that puts things into context.
Yeah. You just gotta watch out that they don't become little assholes. Because, I mean...
half the high elves in the world gestures at their moms, goes, "You're not special."
Yeah, that's fair.
Who do you think was the worst back home in Tuertecala for, like, my dad could beat up your dad or my mom could breathe fire on your mom?
Everybody.
So I'd say everyone's parent was an adventurer.
No, that's why I didn't say who did that. That's why I said, who do you think was the worst?
That's a good question. I feel like Ella was more like, them.
Ella was more embarrassed of
Like,
her parents.
100%. Like, and completely lacking in awareness of how much she benefited from having the parents that she did.
If none of you were it, I know what NPC on the island it was.
I'll say it doesn't sound like many of us would have been the type, but I'm very
No.
curious who on the island it would have been.
Yeah, I was actually assuming it was an NPC.
Not many of us, when half the group was orphans.
I was about to say half the group was also orphaned.
There's a dragonborn by the name of Verdon, who is definitely like that, largely because his father is a blood hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, blood hunter is one of those professions that, like, puts you a little bit higher on the scale of my dad can beat up your dad. Particularly when you're a dragonborn and also a blood hunter. He was He was occasionally very hurtful because his father was a Order of the Ghost Slayer, so his dad could beat up your dad even after your dad was dead.
All I could think of, though,
which got
is,
him told off a few times by the adults.
like, as a kid and he doesn't understand what he's saying, it's like, don't bully me. My dad will cut himself.
Jesus Christ.
And then that call home, and then the dad having to explain, it's like, that's not what's happening.
For Dragonborn though, that's fucking metal. These are scales. That's not easy, right?
Yeah, you gotta work to draw blood as a Dragonborn.
You gotta really dig in there.
God damn it.
Yes, definitely Verdod, the Dragonborn child of a blood hunter.
So yeah,
Didn't
Grouper
help,
will just
didn't
say,
help that they were all red dragons.
just says, I mean, we just make sure they don't turn into little Verdons out there.
If I learned anything from my father, it was disciplinary, and if I learned anything from my mother, it was when to push that line back a bit.
No,
You definitely
I'm just kidding.
You definitely heard your father muttering at one point, Najka. I was like, little prick's right, but he doesn't have to rub it in our faces. God damn.
And I feel like Verdun's dad is like the most apologetic person in the world about it.
100%. He's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know why he's doing this.
I heard Verdun was causing problems again. I brought you some boysenberry muffins. We feel really bad about it. I'm gonna talk to him.
His wife is the local grocer, so like it's the blood hunter and then the person that runs the store. Like,
Fantastic.
all right.
And then the one time he runs that by Najka, the response is, I mean, maybe, but I can beat up you. So fuck off.
Resistant to fire damage, though, to be fair.
Yeah, not resistant to fist damage.
My damage type is fist.
Meanwhile, he tried on me, and I would just read the shit out of him.
Anyways. Is there any more to this scene, or are we continuing on?
I think we can probably move on.
Yeah, that's probably that scene.
Any other scenes anyone wants to have before the end of the week? Or any other specific downtime activities anyone wants to take care of before the end of the week? We know we've got training on two sides. And retraining on for Elvira, but
Tenebris is spending time at the library, trying to find books on whatever the patron is.
all right. Go ahead and give me an intelligence check. How much gold are you putting into this research? Every 50 gold gives you a +1 to the check.
100.
All right, so +2 to the check.
So +2 to that, 13.
13. You're finding a lot, and it's the Call of Soul. There's lots of information. The problem is finding the information that's relevant. You are finding lots of information about sea creatures of immense power, creatures of the depths that may or may not have a direct connection to the Wild Mother, or creatures that are just so latently powerful that they can bestow power. Nothing specific is coming up about the creature that you have pacted with. Not that you're finding, but it's not that it's not here. You just haven't found it yet, is the thing. There's like you're reading about there's a story out of Wildmount about a creature that was sort of similar in nature, that was like basically sort of a really large kraken, that had the power to bestow pact-like powers on people, typically sailors that had crashed around its lair. So with that in mind,
Everybody whispers its name really hushedly every time it comes up.
Yeah. With that in mind, like the similarities to what you experienced make you think that it might just be a big kraken, but it could be something else. It's not solid information. As you're just reading through books and realizing there's a lot of weird shit that happens in this world, and all of it's documented by the Cobalt Soul.
Like, I've heard some stories from sailors over the years, but like, there's a lot here.
Yeah. If these books are to be believed, people are getting magic powers from entities in bodies of water all across the world at a startlingly regular basis. From naiads in lakes throwing swords at people to krakens in the oceans giving people magic.
Cineverse believes it.
You do find a reference to a particular lake that has been cordoned off by the Cobalt Soul because the naiad in it likes to throw swords with unerring accuracy and doesn't end up bestowing people power so much as killing them.
Fantastic.
And they're trying to convince her to stop. Because I just like the idea of the Lady of the Lake throwing the swords tip first. Here, catch. Damn it, another one. Yeah. Is that your research? Holly, are you doing anything other than just training on your bow?
I think just try. It's been several weeks.
That's the downtime activity. I'm just wondering if there's any scenes or anything that you want to do while you're...
I'm trying to remember. I thought there was something, but I cannot think of it right now.
Is it in correlation to any member of the party or Hawk, who isn't here anymore? But...
Conversation with an empty room. No. It'll come to me if I remember.
Okay. Pardon the sounds in the background. New child is fussy. He's a very angry baby.
Is he also going to throw swords point first at people?
He might. I mean, we do have the swords. He does not yet have the strength, though. Thankfully, that is the only thing that keeps us safe. So, a week passes. At the end of the week, Elvira has a new kit, and because the scrolls from the libraries won't come until a day later. You do get a message from the Cobalt Soul letting you know that the diviner that you asked for has arrived.
Oh, wonderful!
And that they are waiting at the Cobalt Reserve for your questions.
I know I could just like walk over and do it, but Ella thinks this is funnier. I am going to do ascending to Davina. So now Davina has someone's voice in their head
What?
for a moment.
What now?
You get ascending?
Sorry,
No, you're good.
conversation, child.
You're good.
Things. Yes. What's up?
You get ascending. Hey, our diviner is here. What's it feel like having a random voice in your head suddenly?
Wow, is
Over.
this what it feels like for you guys?
And then I pop my head in the door and say, yes.
Like she said that out loud too.
Yes.
Why? You could have just.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know, but that was funnier. Anyways, let's get everybody. We can go talk to the dude.
Okay.
And yeah, gather everybody.
All right, gather everybody up and head to
Yep.
the Cobalt Archives. The person that you find waiting for you, the diviner, is a sort of a very extremely pale elf, but not pale in like the lack of sunlight sense. They sort of have like a soft blue undertone to their skin rather than the more pinkish pale you're used to. Their eyes are the sclera of their eyes are black, and their irises have like this sort of odd star motif to them.
Right.
That you are.
Am I familiar with pallid elves? Okay.
This is not a pallid elf. No. You can
it's not. Okay.
You can make me a nature check. Anyone who wants to. The sclera is black, but the irises are colored. It's just that they have a starry-like consistency.
Got it.
Decoration.
Yeah, that's what threw me.
Whoa, 29.
With a 29 grouper,
2.
yeah, paladin.
23.
With a 29 for grouper and 23 for Davina, you have both heard of astral elves. These are elves that are native to the astral plane, and they have a sort of a vaguely star-like motif to them, just like inherently. That this person appears to be an astral elf.
Okay.
They are wearing just a fairly standard sort of blue traveling robe of the Cobalt Soul, and are shuffling a deck of cards as you come in. Yes, hello. You're the. Oh God, what did we?
Yes.
What did we determine? Your Inquisitive was your title?
I think it's Inquisitive.
You're the Inquisitive.
That sounds right.
You're the Inquisitive that requested Diviner.
Yes. Elefira.
Elisaria.
Nice to meet you. These are my friends. We are. What exactly are we trying to get from?
You specifically were the one who had like gone to the parents of the missing children and gotten some of their possessions to try and scry on their location.
Yes, that's right. We're trying to find some missing children, and we need somebody who can scry. I have items for you.
Okay, go ahead and lay the items out. Do you have a description of the children, what they look like currently?
I think we got more or less.
We have a description of the children because Grouper was face to face with them.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have a description of children wearing masks. You do not know what any of the children actually look like, or if any.
I mean,
No,
in
but we
general,
can
aside
give
from the
height,
face.
So
height, hair color.
the problem is
we got
can't
descriptions
connect-
from the parents.
You can't connect any of that, what they currently look like, not what the parents told you, because they definitely look different now. You can't really connect any of that to which children they are, is the problem. Because the faces were hidden. So you can give a vague, basically you can give a second-hand accounting.
Yes. That, yep.
All right. So you have...
We do have possessions, which will help.
Possessions, which basically gives a -4 modifier, and but it's second-hand knowledge, which gives it a +5 modifier. So the save DC on the scrying is a +1 overall modifier in addition to regular stats.
Fair enough.
But there are a number of you have a number of articles, so she can cast the spell a couple of times,
right?
To try to see if she can.
We're gonna see. She's gonna cast it, and like her head's gonna explode or something like that.
She takes the items.
At which point I'm gonna be like, "All right, off to Amon we are, right?"
She takes the items and begins laying out these cards that she's been shuffling. You can see they are what you would refer to as a tarot deck, but it's not a tarot. It's not a tarot set that you're familiar with that any of you have ever seen. The only assumption that you can make is that it is something from the astral plane. Those of you that know that she's an astral elf. She lays down these cards, says a few arcane phrases in Draconic, and then picks them back up, shuffles, lays them out again. She does this a few times. Over the course of 10 minutes, because that's how long it takes to cast. At the end of the 10 minutes, I need to make a roll.
Just because Grouper's been training in this, does she look like she's being legit, or is she putting on a show?
Give me an insight check.
21.
21. she's not reading tarot.
Okay.
So she's not giving you a legit tarot reading. She's using the tarot deck as a mechanism for the scrying.
Okay.
So like she's not even pretending to read tarot.
Okay.
She is doing magic, and these are her material components.
Okay.
Yeah, the tarot deck is her focus, basically.
But the casting is legit. It's just the what she is doing with the deck wouldn't necessarily be considered legit.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not saying Grouper is becoming paranoid, but he has
Sure.
been practicing watching people's motives,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I think is using this more just as an exercise than anything else.
Absolutely.
Trying to be a good student.
It's a bit like, even with 21, she's a bit hard to read because she's sort of like in a trance-like state, which you're finding spell casting trances make it harder for you to like read emotion because it's rote activity. There's no thought into it. It's just practiced actions, which is an interesting challenge for you. But at the end of the 10 minutes, she finishes laying out a particular array, and the cards sort of begin to float off the table slightly, and then there is a burst of energy and they fall back down. She gathers up the cards. Well, the first one succeeded at warding off my attempt. Let's try the next one. And she will indicate one toy that can be moved, one possession that can be removed, and she'll pull a second one closer to her and do it again. The second one, after 10 minutes, also fails. I'm going to say you've got 5 possessions, so 2 attempts have failed.
That'll track. Yep.
She moves on to the third one. Third one fails too. You get a sense that she's getting slightly frustrated as she's doing this.
It's like, professional, I will not be outdone by a child.
Insight check.
Yeah, I will actually insight check.
16 from
17.
Najka.
She's not convinced it's the children resisting her.
Mm-hmm.
She does, before going on to the next one, she does go, you said they were wearing masks, correct?
Yeah. And I'll describe them again. They were like sort of fungal.
Yeah.
Capped.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I'll describe them again and say, and they definitely seem like, they were under some sort of fluence. So, is there anything any of us can do to help?
Fortunately not. The masks might be what's boosting their resistance to the scrying spell. We've got 2 more chances, though, so. And if this fails, then we'll simply have to try again tomorrow. I'm hoping, though, that if the masks are boosting their resistance, they aren't notifying the hags. Assuming that you told her about the hags and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Does with what the minimal amount we were able to glean from the kids, does it seem reasonable that they probably wouldn't want to alert the hags about something like this because they might be worried it would get them in trouble, even though it's not their fault?
That's a reasonable assumption to make. Yes.
So Grouper will say, I'm not saying they might not be controlled or anything, but I don't think they're going to be running off to alert anybody.
I'm more concerned about the masks doing the alerting, not the children.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
On the fourth one, though, as the cards lift off the table in this now familiar motion, they, rather than that burst of energy that signifies the spell has failed, the cards begin to spiral and then swirl as they begin flicking and flying back and forth, forming a geometrical sphere with their flying arcs. And a bit of blue light forms in the center of it, and you watch as her eyes just cloud over, as she's very clearly seeing something else right now. And let me make a roll for her, see what she can glean. Oh, Very good. Okay. Nice. 16, 16, and 16 for 3 rolls. On the die, that is, not including modifiers. You can see her mouth moving as if she's saying something, but there's no words coming out. You're not certain if that's talking to herself or something in response to what she's seeing. But as the spell comes to a close, you watch as the cards very neatly fold themselves back up and land on the table in front of her. Her eyes blink, and that sort of glossy look that they had clears back out to her normal looking vision. It worked that time.
Eventful.
Yes, it worked that time.
Did you find out?
Well, they are still on the material plane. I will need to do some research to figure out where. It was not a place that I recognized immediately. And she flicks her fingers, and like just there's a burst of energy as Elefera, you recognize this as being a Cobalt Soul specific message cantrip. It's not a full message. It's like a signal, like a bell chime kind of thing, just a preset signal. Using prestidigitation. And one of the librarians comes in, and she just asks very quickly for an atlas, both local and global, and mining maps covering all of the Cliffkeep Mountains and from Craghammer to the Alabaster Sierras. And then turns to the review. From what I could tell, it looked like the house had relocated itself inside an abandoned mine complex. I'm not certain where, but it's not the sort of thing that you would find on other planes of existence. The elemental plane of Earth is not nearly as constructed it would be in this format. But that means they could be very close. There are mines in the Umber Hills. Or they could be as far out as Craghammer or somewhere in the Alabaster Sierras.
Could they be on one of the other continents?
Possibly. The architecture was not easy to make out, but we don't have a lot of information on hand about mining complexes in Wildmount or in
that other place. The one I can never remember either.
Marquette.
Yeah.
We don't have very much information about mining complexes in Wildmount or Marquette. Considering that they were hunting here, I'm going to assume they're still here. For whatever reason.
That's more than we had before, for certain.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't thank me until I've given you a location.
Okay.
Thank you because you started.
So
there'll be plenty thanks to pile on.
This will take me a few days to sort through the mining records that we have. If you'd like to assist, you can. Otherwise, I will let you know when I found something more definitive.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much help I would be, but I'm certainly around and I can try.
So mines tend to have wood bracing. Tenebris is familiar with wooded structures, so Tenebris will try to help, and will help look through and like this is the wrong type of wood for that mine.
So it's going to take with your help, it'll take less time, but it will still take at least a day or two for her to with Grouper and Tenebris helping out. It'll still take at least a day.
Identifying regional timber supplies will definitely help narrow things down, though.
Yeah.
I think if Tenebris makes that leap, Grouper can be of more help by pointing out, like, oh, well, I don't know anything about mines, but I can help identify wood.
You will learn just from working with her, just as she's sort of casually monitoring herself. Another reason why she sort of ruled out Wildmount and Marquette is because hags are territorial creatures by nature, and that means that this hag has staked Western as her territory, which means she's not going to leave her territory just because a bunch of uppity adventurers attacked her.
Fair.
So most likely she's going to be nearby. But anything else people are doing for the couple of days that this is taking, other than we'll get to the research that's going to arrive tomorrow in a moment.
Najka will probably ply her trade any money she can make to help improve the party's funds and her own funds for making modifications.
What's your daily crafting score with gold?
My current craft limit is 150 gold.
Okay, so yeah, you can make 300 gold a day if you're spending all day crafting and selling things.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll spend whatever time we have doing that.
All right. Davina?
She'll
It'll
try to help
Right.
doing research.
And if that changes based on what you learn from your scroll, we'll find out. Elfera?
I think she is going to help Ilaria. Did I get that right? Elisaria, I was close. Elisaria and yeah. Company.
All right. Oh, I should fix this so that they can actually see
how to be an assistant to somebody researching stuff in the Cobalt library.
It is a skill set you have cultivated. All right, but second, just updating the. I've started putting the background music title of the music that's playing in Roll20 on the overlay. I'm just updating it for the music that's about to start playing.
I'm trying to think of a way you could automate that.
There are plugins that work for like Spotify, but they don't work for Roll20.
Yeah.
Anyways, I could literally list them all out and just click on, click off, but that's.
You could also. I mean, if this is obviously not a now thing, but because you have the tracks are actually on your hard drive, right?
Yes.
You can load those tracks into Spotify.
Yes, but they wouldn't play in time with the Roll20. Otherwise, I'd be listening to it twice.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no, fair.
Yeah, it'll read off Spotify as Spotify is live and playing.
Yes, and I didn't make, unless you hit,
Yeah. I'd have to share it. It will make it more complex. Anyways.
If we stitch this together over 5 different programs and plugins for each program, it works.
Scrolls, starting with Davina. You get a scroll from your library. The only bit of information that your librarian has been able to find about Silas Russian thus far is that Silas Russian does not exist. That name cannot be correlated to any individual on any census for any known nation that they have access to. Which the assumption that the librarian is making, that the researcher is making, is that that is a code name or a fake name or an alias of some kind, meant very specifically for people to have so that they don't know who they're talking about.
Right. Does Davina remember how she heard the name? Like, did someone call him Silos?
You're not certain. You
Okay.
assume someone called him by name. You don't know how you know the name.
Okay.
You just know that is Silos Reshin, which is apparently a fake name. So there's
Of course it is.
there's not
Fucker.
much else that you're going to get off of that particular avenue of research because there's nothing to research. That person doesn't exist as far as any researchable documentation would provide.
Okay.
I mean, that info is still info.
That is still info. Yes, that is
Yeah.
absolutely still information. And as far as the torchbearers, Elvira, you were just sort of it was a general background on the torchbearers was what you...
I think it was trying to... It was essentially trying to dig up dirty secrets on them. Like, I didn't want, like, the Wikipedia entry
Right.
equivalent of the torchbearers. We know all that shit.
So, yeah, after a week, not that you know it's a week because you think it was 2 weeks, but after a week of research on the torchbearers, you get back. They are fastidious about covering their tracks in regards to the off-the-books operations like what happened to Davina. Your researcher tells you that any and all black sites, for lack of a better term, that they might be operating are not on any records that they're able to find. If they are being financed, they are not being financed through any channels that they have access to publicly. And that the only reason we know the one that Davina was in exists is because Davina was in it.
Right.
And because your mentor broke her out. The researcher was able to get a little bit more information from Rook about how she found it, and Rook only found it by shadowing a torchbearer to it. She didn't find it through any logistical means. She spotted someone suspicious and followed them. Manpower error seems to be the primary method by which we will gain more information on the dirty side of things. This level of fastidiousness, no, your researcher will tell you, is professional level, cleanup. This is some...
You only have this... You're only this clean if you're dirty.
Exactly. And not only that, you're only this clean if you've got experience keeping a company,
Right.
keeping a group of people clean.
Right.
So we might not know what Silos Reshin's real name is, but if he's in charge of the, again, for lack of a better term, black sites, he has done this before for another organization. What organization, we don't know. Based on the magical nature of the research, your librarian can offer a few suggestions as to possibilities.
I can think of a couple.
One of them being the Cerberus Assembly of Wildmount.
I was going to say, Cobalt Soul gets along so well with the Cerberus Assembly. I'm sure that's like, all right, so we have to find one of these fuckers.
The others would be the League of Miracles. Which, again, there's no dirt on the League of Miracles, weirdly. In a sort of a similar fashion. Although not quite as fully clean, because the League of Miracles has had a few incidents that they've covered up politically that can be dug out. And also, oh god, what were they? Lure of Isoran was part of it before.
The Arcana Pensophical.
The Arcana Pensophical. Those are the three organizations that your researcher determines are possibilities for former employment.
Okay. I am going to feel like the information arrives. David and I get our scrolls, go off in opposite directions, and then after reading time, I'm gonna check with Davina. Hey, How you doing?
I'm okay.
Is it okay if I ask you some questions? This might have nothing that comes from it, but it doesn't hurt to ask, unless it hurts to ask
It's all right.
about
Go-
anything you might remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember? They're really good about covering their tracks and specifically their finances. If I feel like the odds on this are infinitesimally small, but is there any chance that you overheard anything, any organizations that you didn't previously recognize? Somebody just happened to say it at some point while you were in there. Anything like that?
Can she recall anything like that?
Make
Any
make an
names?
insight check, Davina. Was it 15?
15.
You instinctively recall a name,
Mm-hmm.
and then you wait for a second.
What?
Given that you aren't sure how you heard his name as Silos Reshen,
Mm-hmm.
and the information that you just received, you're not sure if any information you might remember overhearing is information you actually overheard. This might all just be planted false leads.
I don't know.
The name that comes to mind is the Arcana Pensophical, but you don't know, you can't corroborate that. And given what you've just learned about Silas's name, that might not be accurate.
She concentrates for a minute and she looks like she is in pain as she's concentrating. I don't know. Because
It's okay.
Silos doesn't exist, or that name, and I don't remember how I even heard that name. And sorry, what was the name that came to her?
Arcana
The
Pensophical.
Arcana
Uh,
Pensophical.
Yeah. Arcana Pensophagus?
Pensophical, yeah.
Pensophical, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Is one that I think of.
So the
But-
least likely
The
of the
throat of all
options.
magic.
The magical Mr. Pensophocles.
So you're saying you think it might be suspect information?
No. They could have just planted these things in our heads. I'm questioning everything that I thought I knew right now.
How? I realize you may not know the answer to this. How easy would that be to do?
I feel like Hawk would be a better person to ask than me on that.
Give me a medicine check if you want.
Yeah.
They were in your brain either physically or magically. You've got no idea the difficulty it would have taken to plant false leads.
I don't know. They
Okay.
were in my brain though, so
The reason I ask, there were a lot of you there, right?
There were a dozen.
there were like 12 of us.
A not insignificant amount, at least. That seems like a lot of effort for people that they weren't planning on ever having escape, just as a just in case.
Give me a insight check. Give me an
So-
insight check, Jeremy. As you're puzzling this information together.
It feels like, I mean, Ella is moving this thought process and verbally in a certain direction for potential.
Let me check real quick. What
18.
if you get anything special on your of your investigator abilities. What level are you?
I actually might. There is I mean, that's up to you. I'm 7th. Myths and legends. You have advantage on intelligence checks related to researching creature spells and other ancient or secret lore. Maybe
I'll say that'll give you advantage on this too. So go ahead and roll that with advantage.
18
So
still.
You're piecing together the information that you've got so far. The nature of this, like, whoever it is that's sort of cleaning up after the organization.
Right.
You wouldn't put it past someone that fastidious to plant false information as due process, like just as a course of operating. Because the best way to keep an organization clean is to plant its deeds under another organization that didn't do it. Because if the deeds can be corroborated to an organization, you don't have to look further. If everybody that escaped from this black site says the Arcana Pansophical did it, the Arcana Pansophical did it. It doesn't matter if they actually did it.
So, the thing I have two minds of this. One is it's very possible, especially considering how good they are at being clean, at keeping themselves clean. They're legitimately too good at keeping themselves clean. That could absolutely be the case. The other, and I'm only saying this because it's something that we should be aware of as even a slight possibility. You might plant false information if your whole goal is to let people escape towards some greater plan. Because now there's a dozen psychics out in the world whose brains they've been in.
And it is odd that Rook found them through one person being sloppy.
It feels weird. It feels weird and I know I am the conspiracy-minded person, but this is all too clean for me.
Davina looks like, just realizing this, she looks like she's about to have a mental breakdown.
Now, listen. It's good that we've thought of this possibility, because if we know, we can act on it. And it's possible that I am diving down a rabbit hole of Ouroboros bullshit that isn't true at all.
No.
Don't take this as a reason to be suspect of yourself in any way or worry about any of those kinds of implications.
No, but you're right. And this part, you hear in your head. She's no longer speaking out loud.
Right.
No, you're right, though. This... Because, out of character, thinking back, Rook said there was, no one guarding it or something?
No,
when she got there?
Rook took out the guards.
Oh, she took out the guards.
Yeah, Rook took out the guards.
But everyone important was gone.
Right. Silas wasn't there.
Okay.
Nobody of rank or importance was there. It was just
That's fucked up.
regular guards.
Yeah.
That's real coincidental.
Okay. Yeah, so she's in talking in your head, her mannerisms are getting very twitchy and stuff.
Listen.
Yeah. And there was no one important there. They're just...
Okay.
There were cards that were easily taken out by Rook.
Listen. This is good information.
Yeah.
Don't use this as a reason to retreat Okay?
No, yeah, it's fine.
Because I know how I would react to that information.
Mm-hmm.
Davina, make an intelligence saving throw for me.
Congratulations, you broke Davina.
13.
13.
You have begun just instinctively analyzing every memory that you have.
Yep.
And everything from you arriving at Iman Beyond is now suspect to you. You're not sure. Did you join up with them at like a fundraising event like what they did here, or was that a planted memory? Were you tortured, or was that a planted memory?
Can I
Does Silas
insight
exist,
check
or
to
was that a
see
planted
this?
memory? Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
Is that actually Hawk we met, or is
Fuck.
this just
I'm
planted?
gonna
What?
inspiration
Go ahead.
this.
Yeah, was that actually Hawk, or was that a plant?
Yeah.
Was Hawk ever there?
15.
Yes.
What's your passive deception, Davina?
Where
So
is
10
this?
plus your deception score.
Where's deception? Oh, right there. 12.
It's 15. Yeah, no, you can see the conspiracy board beginning to be built.
Snap, 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 snap right in front of your face. Hey,
Yes. Like
You're
jerks her head
here.
towards you. Yeah.
you are here.
Uh-huh.
This is real.
Okay.
Is that
Okay?
is this still all mental between the two of them?
Yes. This is all.
Other than suddenly snapping in front of the face.
But you are elsewhere training with Najka right now, so.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, you're helping
You're
with,
here.
the researcher.
You're here. This is real. Do not start questioning your reality.
Too late.
Well, stop.
Yeah, she'll definitely stop now because you said stop.
Just
She is deep in thought right now.
your
She has. Where is she right now? Is she
I feel like we're
in the room she's
in
staying in?
yeah,
Yeah.
wherever we got the stuff
Okay.
delivered to, so I'm assuming
Yeah,
our rooms.
probably the end. Yeah.
Okay. Then yeah, she has taken out some paper and she's starting to scribble down every single person, every memory.
Mm-hmm.
Make another intelligence
And
saving
she-
throw for me, Davina.
I will help you chart out so I
21.
can confirm for you
With a
who is
21.
real and who we will figure out if they're real.
With a 21, you managed to prevent yourself from diving deep into the "my whole life is a lie" scenario.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, that was
good.
what I was trying to
You-
stop.
You get as far as you didn't actually see your parents when you went back to the island. And then
Oh.
Elefira just like stops that line of thinking with, "I saw your parents when I went back to the island." Like, you know.
I didn't
Yeah, there's
talk
like
to you.
parents question mark.
Yeah.
No, no.
like,
I saw your parents. I didn't talk to your parents and they didn't see me, but I saw them.
like
Illusion question
your
mark.
with,
No,
with,
no,
with the
they're
21
real.
with the 21 save, you're pretty confident the only memories that you are currently in doubt on are everything from you joining the Torchbreakers to you escaping the Torchbreakers. You're pretty Torchbearers. From joining the Torchbearers to escaping the Torchbearers. Everything between those 2 points is suspect.
Okay.
Outside of that, you're pretty confident, thanks to Elefira, that you're fine.
Okay.
Just
She
everything
still-
of most of your 5 years away is
Yeah.
suspect.
Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, she's not peeling apart her entire life, but
Right.
she is like the last 5 years, and she is making multiple little charts.
Elefira, make a perception check.
17.
You notice that as Davina doesn't even know she's doing this. As Davina is, then she starts like just running a finger along one of the scars on her chin and neck, as if she's trying to see if it's fake or not. She doesn't even realize she's doing it, from what you can tell. But
Okay.
you can with that you can tell that this knowledge has unsettled her deeply at her core.
I'm going to use my rushed incantation.
Call that an info hazard.
We call it
And
a
I am
we call it a
sending
Roper's basket.
I am sending a sending to Grouper.
All right.
Grouper, I think I broke Davina. You need to get here right fucking now.
There's a long pause. And there's just Elefira? Where are you?
Oh shit, that might be useful. It's okay. I can do rush incarnation multiple times. What is it? A number
Second
of
rushed
times.
incantation.
A number of times equal to my 3 times my intelligence modifier, which is so 1.
So 3 times.
No. My intelligence modifier is +0, so
Ah.
a minimum of 1. But I can use it once more at 5th level, 9th level, so I can use it twice. So
You-
second time. Right. Sorry. I'm at the inn. This is ascending. Long story. Davina is questioning her reality right now. Explain when you get here. I don't know if that went over 25.
I like to think that at the first sending, while I was researching books, Grouper just suddenly yelped and fell out of his chair.
100%.
Yeah. And then the book fell on his head.
Yeah.
Jennifer just lifts the book off. You good?
He sort of pulls it off the top of his head and looks up and says, Davina's in trouble. Also, Elefira can do sendings. Wait, hold on. And then I get the second part of it. What is Holly, what is Davina's favorite food?
Oh, Davina.
Does she even know anymore?
But yeah, that's the question.
That's his
Is Davina's favorite food something that she developed within the
what
last
was
5
her
years?
favorite food?
What does Grouper
So
think her favorite food is?
She really likes a lot of like fresh fruits, like berries or strawberries. Which now Ella sees like a list of like berries.
Do I like
Question
strawberries?
mark. Do I actually like this?
All right. So just in response to Davina's questioning everything, Grouper says, "Okay." Or sorry, over the mental link it's, "Okay, don't worry. We've got this. I'm bringing everyone
No!
and everything." You can't respond.
No, but I am
Just out loud.
no, as Davina is like, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, Davina is fully absorbed in like
Oh yeah,
charting
she
stuff out.
is. Yeah.
I am slipping my stealth +7 ass out the door and running down to the front to stop the entire party from coming up and making this shit worse.
Davina, you give me a stealth check, Elefira.
All right,
To be fair,
21.
Najka's probably out doing work right now.
What's your passive perception? What's your passive perception, Davina?
Passive perception.
Not 21, I hope.
Is no, it's not. No, it's like 12.
You're in the middle of writing something down. You look over, and Elefira's not there.
You question if Elefira was ever there?
Was Elefira ever there?
It's okay. We still have the mental link.
Absolutely. Just the voice in your head.
Yeah. Those are always real.
It's not helpful.
No, it wasn't. Was it, Elefira?
At this point, she just has papers all around her in a circle as she's sitting on the floor, scribbling on everything.
What is your spell save DC or your psionic save DC?
Where would that be?
It is if you're using your character sheet, it would be on your spell page.
Nope, not there.
Hang on. It's 15. Okay.
Oh, it's up there. I'm sorry.
All right.
I can't navigate character sheets.
You're having a crisis. Of course, you can't navigate a character sheet.
Yeah.
Yes, it's gone into the real world now.
All right. Elefera, I need you to make an intelligence save, DC 15.
Oh no. Nope. Did my head just explode?
No.
I want my head to have just exploded.
What is your mind thrust damage currently? It's 2d10.
Oh,
All right,
no.
Go ahead and roll 2d10 for me, Davina.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay, you can't kill me.
In any way that matters.
14.
Elefera, you take 14 points of psychic damage as the communication link is cut. Davina,
Ow!
mechanically, Davina's paranoia is spiking and causing random psionic effects, and you are connected to her brain, so that was a random psionic effect. You suddenly realize that a paranoid psionic might be a bad thing for everyone in the area.
Yeah, ow. Oh, I'm realizing that my character sheet does not have because I've not put hit points on my character sheet. I'm trying to figure out how to do this on this fucking 2024 sheet.
Okay, so I will tell you how. Actually, you know what? We're going to take a break, and I'll tell you how on the break. So those of you that are watching live, please remember, when we take our break, you take yours. So stand up, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Hang on as I copy this and...
one that just
we're back.
first
A dinosaur story. So yeah, Elefira, your head hurts.
Yep. Ah, motherfucker! Is this like right when people are coming up, or are they not here yet?
We'll say it is, sure.
Okay. Mother. As
it's
blood pours out my nose.
Grouper and Tenebris, because Najka is elsewhere.
Yeah. So we come running up. Can I retroactively have what is the name of the person that we are assisting with research?
Elisaria.
Elisaria. Could I say retroactively, Grouper just sort of turned and went, Tenna, Davina needs help, and then turned to Elisarius. Elisarius?
Elisaria.
Elisarius. Okay, Elisarius.
It was written
we're
in
back.
chat.
An Elisarius story. And turns to Elisarius and says,
There's no S at the end.
No S.
Elisaria.
Elisaria. Okay. Okay.
Ellis and Aria. The Aria of Ellis. Elisaria.
So Grouper turns to the Cobalt Soul agent and says, I'm gonna need all the berries you got. And then can we cut forward to us, the two of if Tenebris comes with.
Tenebris gets dragged along.
Okay, yeah, that's probably accurate. Literally, Grouper just grabs hand. Flop is moving up the stairs behind them, and they're just.
Yo, I'm standing in front of the door to the inn. To
be fair,
I am outside.
With the panic that Grouper's in, Tenebris would have shot a message to. Would have used sending to shoot a message to. I'm blanking on Shawnee's character now. Nashka, that one. It's like, apparently there's something going on with Davina and Ella and at insert wherever.
I'm in so much trouble.
I mean, if that's all that Tenebris sends to Najka, then Najka will sort of go back. Let me know how much of a mess it is, and if I need to step in at all.
That does just sound like more drama alert, which we know Najka is allergic to.
She's like, yeah, okay, let me know how much of a mess that is, and whether or not I need to step in at all.
Perception checks, Grouper and Tenebris, as you're riding up to the inn.
Okay.
Nothing.
Focused.
18.
Tenebris, you're focused. You see Elefira. You're going towards Elefira. Grouper, you notice that some of the inn has like decorations on the outside of it, like planters and things hanging off windows. One section of the wall, the planters are floating freely. And also there's a person like curled up in the fetal position on the ground near that area of the inn.
Do I recognize them?
Just a random passerby that didn't succeed a DC 15 intelligence save.
Fair. So, Grouper sort of points in that direction. And we can also see Ella at this point, right?
Yeah, who's
Correct.
like bleeding from the nose and like it looks like she's got a migraine.
She is essentially blocking the door because she doesn't want a whole ass group running up there. Ow!
What happened? What?
Handkerchief! Handkerchief!
You're actively bleeding?
Yeah.
All right. Grouper will pull out. It's definitely a cloth.
Good enough.
It's handkerchief sized.
All right. So
I cast Cure Wounds as you touch my hand.
Okay. Cool.
The headache goes away.
How much do I get back?
12.
You took 14,
good.
so you only taken 2
That's
damage.
good.
At that point.
I'm much better now. Thank Christ. Okay. So, hi guys. So Davina is kind of questioning her reality right now.
Does that involve berries?
No.
She likes berries.
What? Oh, it's actually not the worst idea. All right. So, shit.
Elefira, make a perception check now that
Fine. Fuck it. Come
you're
on.
no longer bleeding from the nose.
Yep. That tracks.
Nope,
Everything's fine. All right, come on, let's go up.
Grouper, as Elefira heads inside, you see another person just sort of collapse over by that area.
Okay. Is Grouper kind of just sort of say, "Oh, is this related? I mean, I would assume so."
What?
Points over towards the collapsed people.
There are 2 people collapsed and a bunch of plants floating outside what you know to be Davina's window.
Oh, fuck me. Grab the both of your hands and I start running.
Okay. Grouper is pulled along, and just as you pull him along, zoop, and raises up.
Unacceptable.
Platform shoes, baby.
Gotta get that in.
It's
like
just really quick, unacceptable. Okay, here's
Raise up the height.
before we get to the front door, before we get to the room, here, and I'm giving them the really quick question about whether all of our memories are false or not. There's a possibility that they were all planted. I did my best to make her understand that most everything is real, but I started it, so I don't think I can finish it.
You notice that several bits of furniture are floating outside of her room as you approach.
That's not good. I shove Grouper forward.
All right. So is the door open?
No, not currently.
Okay. Do you just like shove me into the floating furniture?
I mean, no, just forward.
Towards the door.
All right.
I did a bad. Fix it.
So Grouper said, "Okay, Ella, we'll fix it, but you didn't do this to her. They did."
I appreciate that. I understand. My feelings can wait. Make it better.
Okay. And I'm gonna carefully zoop, go back to grouper height and try to duck under the floating furniture.
Yeah, please don't walk in the room of the person questioning reality when your height is unnaturally large.
Ella, it's me, Grouper.
Ronan is a giant octopus.
Davina.
Yeah, I already made that mistake once.
Davina.
Slurp, slurp, slurp. Hey Bart, want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask? All right. So yeah, carefully open the door while saying, "Hey, Vina, it's me, it's Grouper."
Davina, you have spiraled further. You are very, very focused on your notes that you're taking, and you do not notice that your bed is floating. All the furniture in the room, several bits of the paper that you had previously written on are no longer looking at are floating. Your conspiracy theory, your conspiracy chart is floating.
Okay.
And yeah, you have a real bad headache, and it's not going away. And Grouper's here.
Just scribbling. Question. Because she would, does she notice Grouper is here?
Yes, you notice Grouper is here.
Okay. She would try to set up a psychic link with him.
Okay.
Oh no.
Grouper, make an intelligence saving
so
throw.
sorry. Okay.
No, not you, Grouper.
Grouper does.
Grouper. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
Oh wait, that is one of my strong points. Never mind. I forgot my characters aren't dumb anymore. 20.
With 20, the link establishes, and you manage. It feels less like a normal psychic link and more like somebody has put your brain in a vice. But you're not taking damage from it. It's just a real bad sudden onset migraine.
Fair. I love D&D where we can have a sense. It's not a normal psychic link. Hey, Vina, can you sort of you're real loud. It's me.
Yeah. Hi. Busy.
Hey, it kind of hurts.
You're fine.
Well, okay. Ella was bleeding.
She is just scribbling. Like
Okay.
crazy.
So, what you doing?
New theories. Everything's wrong.
I mean, kind of true. Everything is really weird. We should just be home and chilling out, but we're not. You want to tell me about your theories? Can I climb up on the bed?
Floating bed.
Yeah, that's what he's going for. He wants to make her notice.
Yeah, okay.
It's really high. Are you doing that on purpose?
Would she take notice of that?
At this point, yeah. Once it's pointed out, you notice that the bed is floating.
Can she control, like, making it go down?
Make an intelligence save. I guess your own DC. Was 22?
22.
Yes. You realize your head hurts. And you realize your head hurts because your sort of psionic abilities are... You have several abilities up that you didn't realize had gone up.
Mm-hmm.
And you just turn them all off. And all the furniture clatters down to the ground simultaneously.
Outside, there's a sound of several vases shattering.
Yes, outside there's a sound of several vases shattering and 2 people gasping for air.
Does the psychic link break?
You can choose to not break it.
Okay.
Does it get less intense?
Yes.
Okay. When you said people gasping for air, is that because it's like like they're suddenly waking up, or is it because
Like
they're suddenly dying?
Like they're suddenly able to breathe again.
Okay. All right. Grouper will attempt to be calm and kind of climb up on the bed and look at this Pepe Sylvia-esque set of scribblings.
Wisdom saving throw.
As I look at it?
No. This is just your attempt to be calm.
Oh, okay, fair.
Wisdom is the emotional roll.
So for sure. 24.
You are the picture of calm.
I will kind of climb up and lean over, and kind of as I do so, just kind of in a way that we've probably done dozens of times over the years, kind of like lean over on, it wouldn't be her shoulder, but probably mid-arm, about where Grouper's head hits, and just kind of looks down at the book.
Do you touch her?
Yeah.
She will jump out of her skin at that.
Okay. It's like not his hand, it's his head, but...
Yeah, no, she jumps out of her skin.
Okay.
There's just a skeleton standing in the room.
Yes.
As I do so, lesser restoration.
Okay. Doesn't seem to have done anything.
What's that?
Doesn't seem to have done anything.
Fair.
This is trauma, not a specific condition.
I get it. Just
fair.
Worth a shot.
Yeah.
Trying a bunch of different stuff.
You can't laser restoration PTSD.
No.
Wrong type of condition.
No,
that's probably greater.
Yeah, that's greater restoration at the minimum.
That statement tracks, but my brain, just because I'm a Final Fantasy player, just went, I can't assume it's stupid.
You can't assume it's stupid,
yeah. What does it look like that she's writing?
So she has a bunch of little, what is that form of charting called? Where you're connecting things.
Line charts?
Flow chart
or line chart?
I think line chart is what I'm going for.
Or rather, no, it's a flow chart because it's a string graph.
Yeah.
Flow chart.
Yes, flow chart. Yes. Yeah. A bunch of those, to the point where like some of them are going off one page and onto the other, and then like 2 are like connected, and there are question marks next to most items on there. And at one end, she has a lot of like silos, no silos, figment silos, written down, and then like on one there's everybody's names in our party with question marks, and like it says like 5 years later Ella question mark, 5 years later Grouper question mark, with like little comments made under there.
What are the comments specifically about Grouper? He's just looking for an in.
Grouper connected to Ella with an X between the two of them that like has two more like arrows coming from it, and one is like reality, not reality, still together, not together, question mark, actually a fish next to one of them, question mark.
Wow, you really are the Charlie from Always Sunny meme.
So Grouper kind of reaches out and taps on that, and he says, "Okay."
I think didn't we even set up the string board in your room at some point for the other stuff?
It's on the ship, but yes.
Oh, okay.
We set that up on the ship.
Amazing. So Grouper kind of reaches out and taps that and says, "Okay, I kind of feel like this one is kind of on me because I didn't tell you the truth on that. But think about it. How many times when we were kids did I ever lie to you?"
Only the once, really.
Yeah.
Old Grouper is truthful.
Yeah. So if you were making this up, why would you make up a me that disappoints you?
But old Grouper is truthful. It's new Grouper truthful.
Mostly, except when I screw things up. But if you were trying to trick yourself, you'd make me just like old me. Right?
It's not you that's tricking yourself. It's Silos.
Yep. Oh, okay.
No,
Sorry.
that was to Holly.
No, I that clicked for me just after I said something stupid. So I get it now.
Silos.
Was Silos,
Silos is the one tricking, controlling, planting.
was he dumb? I mean, is he bad at his job? Because I mean, that seems kind of stupid.
No, he's really out from outside. No, he's really good at it.
Except he doesn't exist. At least that Silos doesn't exist as I knew him.
Well, that's. I mean, sure, that guy's an asshole, and he's gonna do all kinds of weird shit.
Or does he just want me to think that?
Why would he want you to think
he's an asshole.
He's definitely an asshole. Yeah, I mean,
one way or another, still an asshole.
Yeah.
It hasn't been proven yet.
So Grouper just kind of reaches out and taps the book, and sort of runs a big like wet, probably a little bit wet, like finger pad kind of around the whole thing, pointing repeatedly to all the Siloses, and says, I mean, real or not, definitely an asshole. So we've proved that one for sure. Look at this. Nobody who's not an asshole is going to mess with you like this.
Either, I just stick my head in at this point. Either he's the person you remember, or he's the person who made up a bunch of stuff in your head to put you in this state. There's no world in which he's not an asshole.
Can we look? There's a lot for all of us to. No. Ella, Tenny, why don't y'all come in? We can all talk about it together. Vina, is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. Come on in. Ella, stop yelling through the door.
All right.
Hey, Vina. I want to try to help you make this a little bit easier to sort out. Is that okay? I just want to make it easier for you to concentrate on this stuff, get a better perspective.
Staring at you really hard, like she's questioning if she can trust you.
Okay. Says, I won't do it if you don't want me to. I just want to make it a little easier for you to think straight, but I get that that might not be something that you want right now. I got this! And he reaches in and pulls out like an old sort of hard packed ration bar. He says, there's berries in it. They're dry. They're kind of compacted in, but I can dig them out. And watch this. And he'll reach in and sort of dig out a berry from basically like a granola bar. And then, can I use shape water to rehydrate a berry?
Sure.
Okay. So I do that. And he goes, I made these from back home. The bars are not so great. I'm not so good at granola bars, but the berries are still pretty good. You want to try one?
Sorry, I'm trying to wrap my brain around how she would make sense of this in her current state.
Well, and he's been able to do shape water.
Yeah.
Make an intelligence save, or an insight check, actually.
Oh, intelligence or insight?
Insight check.
14.
14. This is too normal a grouper thing for it to be an act.
Okay. She'll take the berry. Okay. Safe.
Yep. I mean, you should eat it.
I don't think you should eat it.
I mean, and he just turns and like.
At that comment, she like drops it to the floor.
Sorry. I wasn't saying because it's not.
And scrambles away from it.
This is why I need to not be here.
Tenebris will step forward, grab the berry, and eats it. It's like, look, the berries are fine. It's not going to kill. It shouldn't kill me.
It's not gonna kill her.
This is where we learn that Tenebris is deathly allergic to berries.
Make a Constitution saving throw, Tenebris.
God.
I wasn't saying that you shouldn't eat it because it's not real. I was saying it's a very old berry.
You've definitely eaten worse.
It's preserved. That's
not how preserving works.
Yes, it is. You dry things. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we've had dried provisions on ships for all the time.
As they are arguing, she is like crawling towards the door right now.
Grouper will sort of flop over in that direction and say, Avina, come on. What could be more real than all of your bonehead friends not being able to get their shit together to help you? Come on!
It's the realest thing that's ever been said on this stream.
Not wrong.
And Grouper, does that make her pause at all?
Can I I'm sorry, I'm trying to get an idea for her mental state. Can I make like another intelligence?
Sure. Intelligence save.
Yeah, okay. Oh, goodness.
I mean,
not that bad.
Up to you to interpret, but like,
okay.
Nothing Grouper has said has been not Grouper-like. Which might be more suspicious or might not be. That's up to you.
I need. Okay, I need to not be here.
Okay. Where do you want to go?
Water.
Okay. Let's go to some water. I tell you what, you pick the water you want to go to, and we'll go to it.
What's the nearest source of water around here?
The river outside the town,
I was saying the river.
or a well nearby.
Is there a
Yeah,
fountain?
It's like-
Lost in a well.
Yeah, if you wanted to like dive into a nearby fountain.
I mean, there's definitely there's
is-
definitely a water feature in the Wild Arbor.
Yeah,
we established
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, there's a lake in the Wild Arbor. Yeah, there's like a fountain in the middle of the Opal Ward. Some water features around there, like around throughout the.
But if you want like free flowing, like natural water source, then the nearest one will be the river outside of town. Yeah.
Yeah. The lake in the Wild Arbor is like contained. It's a man-made lake, or druid sculpted rather.
Yeah, she would probably go to the river, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, the river outside town is the closest like naturally formed water source.
Is it intelligence or wisdom that is going to help Davina make sense of this?
Intelligence for internal, wisdom for external. So
Okay.
if she's trying to make sense of something you guys are doing, wisdom. If she's trying to make sense of something that's inside herself, intelligence.
Okay.
I am not going with.
Is that, do you say that or do you just sort of slip away?
I just don't go with.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're sneaky as fuck, so I figured I should ask
Yeah,
how you're
no,
doing
I
it.
don't say anything. I just don't go with.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's noticeable, Cooper would
what's
say-
what's your passive stealth, Elvira? Since you're not actively hiding, you're just trying to not be noticed.
I'm just literally just
Yeah.
not going
Yeah,
with.
yeah, exactly.
Passive stealth is like 17.
So
I
perception,
mean, my passive perception is 20.
perception check. Yeah, but it's an active check versus the DC
That's-
of 17,
that's-
basically.
That's fair.
So
All right,
Nope.
so that's a 12. All right, so Cooper's like going around, looks around, realizes Ella isn't there, and then it's just like to himself thinks, well, that's not gonna fucking help. Is Tenebris coming with us?
Sure.
Okay. And Flop
Yeah,
is
if
coming.
Tenebris didn't go, Ella would push him out the door.
Ella needs to do damage control right now.
Vina,
Do damage control and stop doing damage.
Both are damage control.
True.
Vina, I'd like to help you make it easier to clear your mind, but I understand that me doing anything right now when you're dealing with all kinds of outside influences may not be super helpful. So, if you think you could use help, let me know. If not, I won't do it. I'm talking about the spell Enhance Ability, which can give you advantage on checks for a specific ability.
That response didn't come through, Holly.
Oh, I just said okay.
Okay. It's on offer. I'm not going to do anything that you don't expect unless it's something stupid. So you should probably expect me to do something stupid and then I won't surprise you. And he's intentionally talking out loud.
Just water. I want.
Okay.
I
Let's
want
go.
water.
Yeah. Let's go to the river.
That'll take a couple hours of traversing the city because it's a big city and you're on foot. Elvira, what are you doing while you're staying behind?
I am just kind of. I'm gonna read through this batshit set of notes
Make me a
so I can get the best, like.
first. Make me a perception check, then make me an insight check.
Perception. Yes, my most skilled role that I always do good on. Yep.
You don't
Now
know.
your actual most skilled role that you
Your
always do
insight.
good on.
This is not my most skilled role, but this is the role that I usually do well on,
The-
regardless of system or character. Having said that, I'm now about to roll a 1.
Nope.
Nope, 23.
It's an 18. There wasn't one in there. It was just followed by an 8.
This is true.
Yeah, the 6 was not related to the papers. It was something else, but you don't notice because you're busy looking at the papers. It was 23 inside.
It was to notice Silas walking up behind me with a knife.
He wouldn't use a knife. With 23 on the insight onto sort of Davina's mindset, you were trying to figure out what.
I am just trying to figure out where she's at, if there's anything that she's 100% as real about. Basically, where.
Yeah, so you've got
where she's at in this process.
You've got the precise idea that she's sort of stuck on the fact that she's lost 5 years of her memory. She can't trust anything that she remembers from that time period. And when she came back from that 5 years, everyone was different.
Right.
And that is conflicting in her mind right now. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, Holly.
No, you're spot on.
Yeah.
It's the conflict of everybody is different now than they were 5 years ago. That she's not able to let go of.
Makes sense.
And is connecting that back to Silos, whose name isn't Silos.
So I feel moderately good that I sent the person who has changed the least to deal with this problem.
But with that,
there's still issues with that.
With that 23, I will say, the problem with that is that highlights the changes that have happened more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the person that never jokes. When they make a joke, you notice it more. Because Grouper hasn't changed as much as everyone else, the changes that have happened are more likely to stand out to her as a alien or otherworldly or not right.
Oh, 100%. I'm just saying it would be better than if I was like, hey, remember the goblins? Here's a robot.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Or, the Jervine with a tattoo on his arm and eye on his hand?
Exactly.
Who constantly spits water.
I'll also say with that 23, thinking about what has led you to this position, if you were in the shoes of someone cleaning up a black site where you did experimentation on psionic people, after you got what you wanted, making them a ticking time bomb for other people to deal with is a really great way to discredit anything they might say against you and get rid of evidence. If that's what's happening, this is intentional. Right. And there are a dozen other people that will be going through this at some point soon that you have no ability to account for.
All right, I am going to sit down and actually ritual cast scrying then. Or not scrying, sending.
Okay.
To Nashka. Nashka, I need you to come back to the hotel. Or the inn. Hotel. Same thing. I need you to come back to the inn. We have a bigger problem right now.
All right, let me close up shop.
Looking outside as you're waiting up here, you notice now the people that had been injured are gone. And listening to some of the conversation you're hearing, it sounds like the event outside the room was blamed largely on wild magic, just like a wild magic surge.
Cool.
It doesn't seem like anybody has enough knowledge of psionics to blame it on a psion.
Good.
But if this starts popping up multiple places, you don't know how long that'll last.
Right.
Nashka would definitely get back to the inn before the others get to the river.
Nashka makes it back with just like a bag full of supplies that she's acquired with the money that she made from today.
I have I have somehow, somewhere procured a bottle of something strong, and I'm partway through it at this point.
Have you fixed all the furniture?
I suffered a mini aneurysm.
Have you put all the furniture back where it goes, or largely at least?
Yeah, I will put the furniture back. Yeah. Sit down, have a drink.
She sits down.
So I will just to give the pretty straightforward description of what happened to lead up to this point.
So the information that you got from your library, the information that Davina got, and then the conversation in the spiral.
Correct.
And the results.
Here's a problem. We need to find all of those psychics.
I was about to say that's...
They're going to blow up.
As many of them as can be found.
We've seen... Davina has... We do know that, correct? You have... We do know that you've seen Hawk. It's been a month. I don't remember if that was
we all met Hawk.
You all met
Okay,
Hawk.
yeah, that's right. That's right. We know we know at least we knew a week plus ago where one of them was.
You knew that Hawk told y'all that he was heading to Amon.
Yeah. Then we know where one of them is.
Well, to be fair, Hawk's also the original source. He's probably less of a threat than the people that were experimented on outside-wise.
Or more of one, because he might be a stronger one. Just because he has better control doesn't mean he's not going to explode. And if he's in the capital city, that's bad.
I'm of a mind that since he was born with these abilities, he's got a better handle on them than someone who was just given them by experimentation.
All right. You're not wrong.
Still worth checking.
That said, and this is probably just a you and me conversation because this is me spiraling into conspiracy theories. Ones that are not going to be helpful if Davina hears them. The information, based on the information, there were a couple possibility of people that Silas may have worked for, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's a Cerberus assembly.
I mean, that seems pretty obvious. If you're looking for fucked up mages.
Who are based in Amon.
Well, the Cerberus assemblies from Wildmount. They have connections.
No, I'm sorry. You're right.
The Arcana Pensophical.
That was my brain. You're correct.
Also, I think they've been disbanded. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I believe the Arcana Pensophical is no longer an official organization. The old members are still around, but they're not like.
Yes.
They're done.
We are post.
Post Cinder King, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have to be because the League of Miracles exists.
Right.
Oh no. The Arcana Pensophical still exists, I think.
All right.
Yeah, it still exists. It's just that the League of Miracles broke away.
I don't buy that one for a couple reasons. One, they just don't seem to fit the bill. And two, Davina said that was the one name that they heard.
Yeah, if that's the name she heard, it's probably not the accurate one.
Right.
That would be the red herring.
I'm gonna say I know how important this actually is, and how much it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion to say, but I think we need to hand off the Hag situation to somebody else and get our asses to him on now. This is a bigger problem.
Get your ass to him on.
I don't like it, but there are other adventuring parties, or the
Do you think you can remotely convince any of the others?
That's why I'm talking to you, because no, I can't. You can't.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if you can convince me. I agree with you on an intellectual level, but
I mean this in
I'm not of a
no
mind to step away from this.
I mean this in no way that is diminishing the seriousness to these individual kids. It is a very serious situation that needs to be handled. This is small time stuff that does not affect a massive number of people.
No, but it's happening right now, and there's a specific situation that set off Davina that, sure, is likely to occur eventually for the rest of these psionics, is not necessarily happening right now.
By the time that happens, by the time it is right now, it will be too late.
And we've only got a lead on one.
It's a start.
And
What's
the
our
one that
lead?
is, like I said, most likely in control of themselves.
And what's our lead on where the kids are? Some cave somewhere
Actively
on
being investigated
Exandria?
right now. Like, there's an active lead investigation going on right now. We're getting direction on that one. We have nothing on these other 11 scions.
I just think we can potentially pass this off to the Cobalt Soul expositor that was working on it before or something. There's nobody.
There was
that
no
we
one
can
working on it. To be
trust.
clear, there was no one working on it. That Cobalt Soul member was looking for people to would be able to handle.
Yeah, the expositor hasn't gotten back yet from their investigation elsewhere.
That's right. That's right.
If you find me someone that you think you can trust to deal with this, then I might be swayed. But I'm not leaving this with no one working on it.
I understand. I think that's a mistake, but I understand, and I also know there's no way I'm convincing everybody. So fair. I'll see if I can find somebody. I probably can't, but I accept being overruled in this situation.
Like I'm not letting this case drop until someone else is ready to take it up.
See what I can do.
Elifair, make a religion roll.
Okay. $16.
16. Let me pull up my book. Let me pull up my book real quick. Continue to speak if you wish.
Uh,
We'll cut over to the other group. So the rest of you make it to the river.
Davina, just like old times. And Tenebris jumps 30 feet into the river.
Boing.
Grouper takes one of his fairly small hands and tries to cover his extremely large face for a moment. And then runs the hand down, which sort of makes unpleasantly moist sounds with his lips as they sort of pull down and then flop back into place. And looks up at Davina. What is Davina's response to Tenebris's ridiculous jump? Which I love out of character, to be clear.
Oh, yeah. She'll just stare at the spot where he went in for a minute.
Cooper just says, again, if somebody was trying to trick you, they wouldn't send us. We're bad at stuff. That hasn't changed. We're trying to be better. That hasn't changed.
She walks forward slowly and just sits down and puts her legs in the water.
Tenebris stays under the water for a weirdly long time and then bobs back up at the shoreline. I don't know the clarity of the river to.
It's relatively clear. This is not.
Okay.
This is a natural river. It's not industrial. It's coming out of a snowy mountain. So
yeah, you can kind of see Tenebris like walking on all fours along the bottom, and then slowly kind of crawl up on the shore until his head pops out. The river's fairly nice.
Davina will slowly get into the river.
It's cool and swift, but not so swift that you lose your footing.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhat
Grouper
refreshing.
and Flop get into.
Logically, I know that you guys are you. But I'm questioning everything right now.
Sure.
I thought I knew things that had happened to me when I was taken. But I was wrong.
Grouper underwater, drawing water through his lungs, or through his gills, and says, "Look, I absolutely get it. That is a complete mindfuck. And just because you know it logically doesn't mean you know it in your heart. It's gonna take time. It is. Sometimes we're gonna help you. Sometimes we're gonna make that worse. Probably a lot of the time, some of us are gonna do one at the exact same time that others of us do the other. But we're not going anywhere, whether we help or whether we drive you crazy. We're gonna be here when you need us, and when you don't. I hope when we can help, you'll let us.
Sorry for always being the problem.
Do you remember how, like, you all had to do kind of a whole big intervention because Ella and I were both being such huge, gigantic shits?
That's a different sort of thing.
Well, it was definitely my turn to be the problem. What is Tenebris doing right now at this moment?
Kind of laying on the riverbed, just kind of watching and listening.
In like in an unnatural way, or
Yeah, if he's laying on the riverbed as a gerbean, yes,
Yeah.
it's kind of unnatural.
Unnatural for a gerbean, yes.
Gruber just turns and points and says, "Look at this asshole. He's doing that on purpose, aren't you, Teddy?"
Doing what on purpose?
Exactly. But again, you remember when I turned into a giant octopus and scared the crap out of him one morning? I didn't do that on purpose. We're all just figuring it out. What?
Nothing. She'll say under her breath, I feel like that was a little on purpose.
Turning into an octopus was an active choice. Chasing me was an active choice.
I mean, neither of you are wrong. They weren't good choices, but look, that kind of brings it back, right? We're all gonna make bad choices. We just gotta try to make as many good ones as possible.
Fuck up less as you go. Over time.
Exactly.
The adventurer's motto.
Yeah.
I need some time.
Do you need time alone, or do you just need time quietly?
Quiet.
I can do some really cool flips. Flop and I have a whole routine, but we can also just leave you alone for a while.
She said quietly, but you didn't hear it because you were talking.
Oh, yeah, sorry, she did say quietly. She will walk away from you not too far, but just a little bit to give her some space. And
Okay.
then just spend some time just in the water trying to relax her mind.
All right.
You watch Tenebris roll down the river a little ways and then crawl back. Roll down the river a little ways, crawl back.
He's a fuzzy ball.
One of the times that he's rolling, Flop will come down, and if you let her, will like boop you with her nose like a seal with a ball. But yeah, I think Grouper will just sort of swim around. It's just nice to be in the water, even if this is uncomfortable, and give Davina some space.
So
As long as it doesn't seem like we're too close.
back at the inn, Elefira, as you're thinking about other people that could take over, you remember oh god, I literally just looked up their name. Hang on.
I might know the organization if you got a brief description.
No. You remember a paladin order.
Okay.
They're called the coin collectors, because they are a paladin order to the Changebringer. Which is Changebringer with your religion roll, is a chaotic good goddess.
Right.
Represent symbol is a coin. But the coin as a means of conveyance. It's a method of connecting nations, connecting civilizations, freeing people from chains, from poverty, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
That kind of representation of the coin, rather than money as an oppressive power. You're pretty certain that you saw a coin collector in town while you were drinking, doing something, you don't remember what. But they are kind of precisely the kind of people you want if your job is rescuing children.
Yeah. So she will finish what's left in the glass that she currently has. From the now half-empty bottle, stand up suddenly, pause there. I'll be back, and head towards the door.
And as you head towards the door, give me a Constitution saving throw to see how straight a line you're able to walk.
My characters never walk straight lines; they walk forward.
That's why I said how straight of a line, not if you're walking in a straight line. With an 8, you bump into the door, and then go out the door.
Yep.
You could have sworn that door was 3 inches further to the right.
That just means I haven't drinking enough.
But yeah, as you stumble out of the room, heading to find something, that's where we're going to end for the week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.